The following video about a show that features an evil corporation that wishes to control anything and everything they want is protected under fair use from corporations that want to control everything they want. Let that sink in, people. So, this week, we got our big, exciting conclusion to Yusaku versus Revolver, and when I say exciting, it was okay. The finale of the duel, I don't know, maybe it's just me, was it a little lackluster? Like, it was just another, here's a continuous spell with a super-ass long effect that will never probably be used again. And while I'm on the subject, I don't even really think Firewall Dragon was used that effectively. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy because it's only the first time we see him, and we're obviously going to see him a lot, and let's be real here, other than Odd Eye's Pendulum Dragon, the protagonist aces tend to just get splashed with any random spell or trap they got. But Firewall Dragon, unlike the other aces, has been built up by we as a fan community for about, 4 or 5 months? And I know that from a very, from a future perspective, like even a few months from now, when Firewall Dragon has been reprinted like 97 times or has been banned or whatever, it seems kind of petty. But this is the protagonist's ace, and I felt like in the grand scheme of things, any Link 4 could have been used for this. Like, just think about it. The one time Yusaku tried to use Firewall Dragon's amazing effect, an effect that has pissed people off this whole time, it didn't do anything. Like, it was negated. That's really not that exciting. And like I said, to just have the conclusion of the duel be just another continuous, pointless spell card is kind of lackluster. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe they were just trying to be different. I liked the duel as a whole, but the finale I thought could have been done a bit better. I did really like every scene after. There was a lot of great stuff with the characters and the animation, and I want to go right to the first thing that really I enjoyed. The whole Ignis coming out of the duel disc, which we know he does, how he just goes right after Revolver. Yusaku is shocked. Revolver's like, what the? And Revolver just gets saved by his dad. We'll get back to that later. And Ignis gets his body back. Can we talk about how freaking perfect Ignis is for a minute? The acting on this character, whoever casted this actor is not getting paid enough. I don't care if they're the highest paid casting director in Japan or in the world. They're not getting paid enough. This performance is amazing. I love all the little ticks, like the funny little screaming when he's getting shocked by the lightning. I loved the scene where his body came back. That was super funny. I hope, though, that the character doesn't lose a lot of his expressive nature because he has a very unexpressive body now. Because honestly, just him as the eye in Yusaku's duel disc had more personality than most characters in this franchise are even represented by. You got a total sense of everything this character was just by the expression alone of that eye. Like when he's getting cocky, when he's angry, when he's irritated, all this stuff you just got a perfect sense of, and I freaking loved it, and I hope that doesn't go away. It doesn't look like it will based on the episode preview, but I really do love Ignis. He really is the best character, and that scene where he came back was so funny. I knew where it was going, but it still worked great either way. And while we're on the subject of Ignis, I like that in this episode we really got a sense of, because I brought up last week, well, didn't Orbital 7 count as AI to a certain extent, or to no extent, or whatever? I felt like that was in a real subtle way addressed. Because obviously, Yusaku knows Ignis is arrogant, he knows that he's annoying and a smartass. But they still question, is he alive? And it kind of got me thinking, which science fiction should do. I really started thinking about, well, what is AI in this world? You could program something to be sarcastic. You can program something to be annoying. Like, what does free will constitute in this world? And I feel like that is a question we are going to ask, especially when you consider how our main character behaves and how his rival behaves and how his love interest behaves. I really think that free will and the expansion of technology is such an important growing theme in this show that I really got a sense that, forget whatever you've thought, this is how we're going to present it. And I really love it when science fiction can put you through anything like that. Science fiction is actually my favorite genre, so seeing the anime go in a sci-fi direction is really turning out to work out great. But that wasn't the only great thing, even though, again, Ignis always steals the show. The other really ingenious set of scenes in this were the scenes with Yusaku, Aoi, and Revolver, and their respective main sort of, I guess paternal influence would be a good term to use. First up, Yusaku and Hot Dog Guy. Yusaku gets out of Vrains, he's weak, and he falls asleep, and the guy's like, even heroes need their sleep. That little scene is so good because it shows that this guy's nurturing nature does come out with Yusaku. He does treat Yusaku like a little brother, and showing that he's willing to give Yusaku time to rest and even encourages it is a nice little scene. Move over to Aoi, who is awake, which is awesome because we waited a long time for this. With that scene with Akira, there's so much going on there in that scene that really needs to be talked about. First up, when Akira gets there and she does wake up, I did smile. Like, it was just so happy to see her back. But the big thing is that they say, like, it's not your fault, I'm sorry, all that stuff. She closes her eyes again, and then he breaks out. That's when he cries. Like, what's very important about that is everything we know about Akira is that he needs to feel in charge, and he needs everyone to think he's in control, and he needs to keep that composure. He kept it as long as he could until Aoi, basically he thought that he was free to do it. Like, when he didn't need to feel like he was strong or older brother or structured, that was when he let go, and she sort of responded to it. It's a great little scene, and I think it shows a lot about where these characters can go. Akira may not be the cool villain I think we all kind of wanted him to be, but I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with this guy. I still think there's going to be a lot to him, and I hope there's a lot more to Aoi. Please don't screw this up, Konami. But all this leads to a great contrast with the scene with Revolver. Why? Because when Revolver talks to his dad, when Revolver's dad bails him out and he gets out, Revolver's dad doesn't care. Like, there's no, are you okay? Are you safe? There's Revolver's instant reaction of, I didn't get Ignis, and the dad's just like, whatever. I love that scene because, again, without needing to talk and waste a lot of time on expositional dialogue, unlike certain other anime that are out right now, the scene sets up perfectly what it's about and what their relationship is. You really get a sense when compared to the other two. Revolver's father is just using him. He doesn't care. He's soulless. He's heartless. Wherever the plot is going with these two, it is interesting, and there's a sense of darkness to it, and in a weird way, it builds up maybe potential sympathy for Revolver. Like, this guy obviously has some big problems, but it probably came from having some big home problems. This might sound a little Dr. Phil, but I'm really curious to see where that goes. It's such a great little scene, and I really do love the way all these scenes were put together and the way they all combined to get us to our next level. The only other big thing I think worth mentioning is when Yusaku does his 1, 2, 3 thing again. Reason 3, I knew one of these had to be about Blue Angel. If it wasn't, it would be a problem. But remember, generally when you hear that kind of thing, Reason 3 is always the big one. The first 2 things were the things we knew. Regaining memories and stopping Hanoi or whatever. Reason 3, he says, I'm going to save my friend. Everything we know about Yusaku is that he's not emotionally all there. He is distant. He has moments where he will kind of give in to sort of like happiness and stuff like that, like when he dueled Go and 1 or 2 other I can't think of right now. But we know that for the most part he's very reserved. But for him to say my friend means that he looks to Aoi in a way he doesn't look to Go or Hot Dog Guy or anybody. To him, like, when he says that, it reaffirms what's going on here. I don't know if they'll hook the 2 up. I don't know if, hell, for all I know, they're going to completely forget about Aoi. I hope they don't. I don't think that would be good. But I really like that little touch, and I think it really says a lot about where things are going and where Yusaku's going as a person. Like, he now shows caring for an individual person because they are an individual person. He's not saying, I'm here to save Blue Angel. He's saying, I'm here to save my friend, meaning someone who matters to me and who is personal to me. Yeah, they had 1 conversation together, but look, by a lot of shows' logic, that's way more than they need. So it's a great little scene, and I really liked it a lot. Oh, and one last little thing. I love that our last scene in this was our first comedy relief ending. Nice little change of pace. But all in all, it was great. To address 2 comments, First up, someone said that they couldn't tell if the voice Yusaku heard in the flashback was a boy or a girl. I think it's a woman, but I think it is left a little ambiguous for where it goes. If I were to take a guess, assuming it does turn out to just be a woman, I think it's probably going to be Revolver's mom, and then it's going to turn out Yusaku and Revolver are brothers, and it's their mom, and the mother and father used the two for lab experiments. Obviously, they brought up Incident 10 years ago, so take a hint, people. It's not, I mean, they might not do that, but to me, that seems like the most logical option. Other thing, I forgot to put the link to the artwork I used for last week's video. That will be in the link to this one, and I'm going to edit it into the description of that one in a minute. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on this episode, if you think everything I've been rambling on about is bullshit or not. And as for the TCG question of the week, Code of the Duelist. All I'm hearing people say is it's a shit set, or people like Mega Capital G being like, give the set a chance. What do you think constitutes a bad set? Because I like this set. It's fun. It's got some cool stuff in it. It's here to teach you about a new mechanic, and that is its prime goal. Honestly, I think a set should be good or bad based on what they want it to do and what it accomplishes. Like, in my opinion, Raging Tempest is actually a bad set because it gave us Tier 0 Zodiac. So take that for what you will. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and, well, let's see if Aoi stays relevant.